Hello viewers, welcome to this episode of your program. It is Economic Insights and I'm your host Paul Kingsley. On this episode, we are spotlighting companies in the furniture sector. We shall be taking a topical look at the various issues affecting players in this sector. On the program, we have the Managing Director CEO of the Wood Factory Limited. I'm talking of Mr. Hussein Aka. Also is the Managing Director of Interior Woodwork Limited. I'm talking of Odun Emasialu. They are going to be giving us their take on the furniture sector and also the challenges affecting players in this industry. Also going to be looking at an indigenous company that are doing so well in the power sector. The Managing Director CEO of De-Haryor Global Services Limited, in person of Engineer Ashadi Olatubosun, is going to be also giving us their contribution in the power sector, where we take a look at the metering services in Nigeria. It promised to be an interesting conversation. Sit back, relax, I'll be back after this time out.
Probably if I'd known how difficult it would be to set up such an industry, to produce at the quality level that we are producing, probably I would have been too intimidated to move forward with it. However, it's been done, we've done it, we've achieved it, and we're very, very proud of the result that we get, the quality that we get. The challenges are various. One of the major challenges is the supply chain. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have local suppliers or local manufacturers of a lot of our raw materials. So it is quite difficult maintaining your supply chain on an importation basis.
Initially, it was capital, but I didn't have money. So I had a good strategy. What we call robbing Peter to pay Paul. So I would take a customer's job and finish up. And we knew at the beginning that cascade could be endangered, because a time came where there was no more Peter to rob, and I could not deliver. Of course, it led to a lot of hardship, a lot of arrests, being locked up more than 10, 12 times, by suppliers, customers who could not finish. But we went through all that because, once you don't have capital, you have to be ready for the rough road. It's an issue of energy. Like here, for the past 15 years, we have not used the grid line. That's a challenge. And also, the raw materials are all imported, almost all imported.
Before now, furniture making, being a subcategory of carpentry, was looked upon with disdain, especially by those who reasoned that, having gotten a college degree, a white-collar job was simply the only path to dignity and prosperity. However, that is fast changing, as more and more people in Nigeria are getting to appreciate the creative art of combining wood, metal, fabric, cushion to give allure and beauty to chairs, tables, wardrobes, cabinets, and other household furniture. Today, with a preponderance of raw materials in Nigeria, the furniture industry in the country is proving to be a gold mine of salt, currently providing qualitative and affordable furniture to a teeming market across the country, with a good number of professionals flooding the industry. One of them is the Wood Factory Limited, a wood processing and furniture manufacturing company which specializes in all forms of furniture products and interior designs. The Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Hussein Aka, is a trained art professional with over 2 decades of professional experience in the furniture industry.
The Wood Factory started around 10 years ago. We started as a small industry with around 20 or so staff, and it has grown exponentially over the years, year on year. Today we're about 200 staff, and we have moved location twice to our current location. Now we have around 7,000 plus square meters of factory floor space, and which is about to expand by another few thousand square meters in phase 2 of construction, which we're hoping to start this year as well. So we first started with a clear target in mind, which was to provide high quality furniture that will truly compete with imported furniture. Not only any kind of imported furniture, but to compete with the high quality, design-oriented quality furniture in order to give a true alternative to our clients in Nigeria for locally made high quality furniture. So this is how we started, and we are still on that track. Well, I've been in Nigeria myself 20 years. I first started in the art business. I set up the first art gallery in Abuja in end of 98. And we still have the art gallery. We have one of the biggest collections of African art in the continent, over 4,000 or 5,000 pieces of art. And in the course of doing business here, I realized that there was a big gap in the furniture market, in the sense that if you really wanted good quality design furniture, you either had to pay exorbitant amounts of money for imported Italian or general European furniture. Otherwise, the alternative was something that was substandard. So having realized that, we started with, as I mentioned earlier, with the target to fill that gap, to fill that hole, let's say, in the furniture industry. It hasn't been easy, but it's been very much worthwhile. We have projects that we've done. I mean, as I said, we've been in business for 10 years in the furniture industry and manufacturing. We've done a few hotels. For example, we did the Best Western in Ibadan. That was a 50-room hotel. We designed the rooms and furnished them. And the reception, the whole thing, the restaurant and all of that. We also did the Air Force Conference Center in Abuja. That was a 30-room hotel with some also the restaurant, the bar area and all of that. From government, we've done NDPHC, their headquarters in Abuja, close to the NMPC headquarters. It was quite a big project. Offices, mainly conference halls and all of that. We've done a lot of private sector work, a lot. I mean, we have, Transcorp Hilton is a client, World Trade Center is another client. I mean, I can't recall, CBN is a client. I think everyone looking for really good quality eventually comes to us. Eventually the road leads to us. I've been here 20 years. I started off in the art business, in the art industry. I still am a big collector of art. I think I'm going to be here for a lot longer. Nigeria, I like to say Nigeria is my adopted country. So my only and biggest investment of time, energy, money is here. This is where I live. This is where my family lives. I like to think that I'm doing something positive, and I think time will tell where we go from here.
In spite of the many challenges faced at the inception of the company, Interior Woodwork Limited has strived to become one of the leading furniture manufacturing companies in Nigeria, with the aim of delivering all kinds of quality and affordable furniture products. Mr. Odu Emasialu is the Managing Director, CEO.
We are a furniture manufacturing company based here in Abuja. We started 20 years ago from the city of Kano, Nigeria, and we moved here in 2000 and set up in this location, and it's been a gradual growth. It's a company that started with close to zero capital, and in these 20 years it has grown to what we are today. We've gone through the spectrum of production, producing different kinds of furniture, both for homes, offices, institutions, like schools. We have private clients, we have corporate clients, and we've done some international jobs which we've taken out of the country. And today we are waxing stronger and looking to go into new areas. We are committed to development of the nation. As you can see, as you know, we have other choices, but as in manufacturing, you tend to, employ more people and get them to help their communities, and that we are committed to. So it's just beyond manufacturing furniture, also look at that other part. But generally, we're a furniture company. Well, everything is everywhere is policy driven. But you find sometimes government decides to look at it like a patient. You're going to see a doctor, and it decides it decides what's wrong with you without talking to you, and decides this is the medicine for you without talking to you. So you have government deciding to a large extent, little consultation, what the problem is. And when we tell them the problem, it's like, they can address it. For example, lending rate at 30%, exchange rate at 360 will not lead to any development. It's impossible. It's impossible. So, a factory is brick and mortar. There's land, and there must be money to build everything and to buy the machines. So if you want 1,000 factories, and each factory costs about, let's say, 30 million naira, for instance, there must be there must have been application of those funds into the system to set up the factories. The government should also see the paradigm, have a right paradigm for development. The general paradigm is that government is helping us. They're not helping us. If I sell off and everything I have, I'll be one of the biggest traders around. So we really don't. We can trade. We can also import. So when people commit themselves to manufacturing, it's not because they don't have any other means of making money, or they can't make money with it, because the capital we invest in manufacturing is much more than what traders invest. A lot of traders, and they get quick returns. We have to wait for years. And government feels they are helping us. No help. That paradigm has to change. They should see us as partners, providing employment, providing products, develop, growing in it. So that's a major problem. There are many dimensions we can look at this. Now, between the players, among the players in the industry, that's one. Then from government to us. Now, if we must develop, if we must achieve the plan of government, both for industrialization and for generating employment, there are some rebates that must be given. I'm not saying that we should just enjoy because we're manufacturers. There are some rebates that are needed to be given to them, to government, to encourage people to invest more. Because find that people just make money and take it out, So they must encourage people to invest more. What if you can achieve this target? This is the kind of rebate you will get. If you employ extra people, this is the kind of rebate you will get. Incentives, it has to be incentivized. That is just it. So but when you believe that we are different, we're just making money, and we need help, it's a wrong thing. So they need to look at it, and also it should not just create the avenue for us to produce. There's also the need to create avenues for evacuation. And because we are poorly funded at the interest rates and exchange rates that we have, individuals cannot do that alone. So we need to work out how we can reach out. My name is Odin Masialu, and I'm a carpenter. And I left university in 1986 from University of Ife, and I've done several things. I've been in the finance sector. I used to be like a gem of a finance house. I've done commodities trading. I've done oil services, and I ended up in the furniture industry. I'm married with children, and I'm passionate about the country, passionate about the youth, very passionate about the youth, and I believe that we can live where we are and rise to the next level. And I've been trying my best to contribute, and I hope that I will continue to have the opportunities to contribute.
If you're looking for a qualified metering servicing company, search no further, for De-Haryor Global Services Limited got you covered. The company has distinguished itself to become one of the leading indigenous companies in Nigeria, providing qualitative, timely, and cost-effective services in the power sector. The company was founded in 2009 with the aim of delivering services in sales of electrical meters, maintenance, installation of mechanical and electrical gadgets. Engineer Ashade Olatubosun is the Managing Director, CEO.
De-Haryor Global Services Limited is an indigenous company and duly registered in 2009. And basically, we are into services and engineering infrastructural development. And ever since then, we've been able to handle a couple of projects such as building construction, electrical infrastructure, and at the moment we are into metering because we felt there is a huge gap in the metering industry. So we came on board and we decided to also participate in that in order to help reduce the metering gap. And we were duly licensed by NEC as an importer of electricity meters, also an installer. And not too long ago, we got licensed as well as one of the MAPs. MAP is meter asset provider, just in order to ensure that at least we are able to cover as much as we can in the area of metering services in Nigeria.
with tens of millions of customers who use electricity in Nigeria not metered, dissenting voices are daily soaring and calling on the electricity distribution companies to accelerate measures to ensure that the issues of estimated bills end as soon as possible. The need to place all customers on prepaid meters in order to get them to only pay for what they consume has been restated on different occasions across Nigeria. Many have argued that the only way to be fair to all consumers is to put in place a standard measurement to check what is consumed against what is billed.
Okay, basically, what I'm going to set an example. When you go abroad, you go abroad regularly, and you realize that a lot of people, even Nigerians abroad, they know how to manage energy very well. In a situation whereby you live in a house, and during the daylight there is no need for you to put on your lights. I mean, a room where you are not occupying, I don't see any reason why the AC in such a room should be on. Issues like that. But basically, like I said earlier, we have been able to, we used to carry out some level of load survey. When we have such customers who are protesting, we go as much as helping them to do what we call load survey. When we do load survey, we will advise them on how to cut energy. When you are not somewhere, you don't need to have your energy on. If you drive around, let's say Abuja for example, you see that some houses that are not occupied during the day, you see the street lights, the security lights, surrounding lights being put on, and there is no need for such, because you are not available. It is daylight, you don't need such. So you should be able to reduce load for as much as you can. When you are not in a room, switch off your appliances. When you are not around, let it be off. We are also working on something to incorporate into the meter, in the situation whereby we help you to time it. During the daylight, your meter switch off some of your appliances yourself automatically, and then when you are back, it comes up on its own. We are working on that as well, so that at least that will help. They will see that we are really helping, in as much as they believe that we are taking money from them. Let it be also seen that yes, these people are really helping us to cut cost. You see, I like to speak on facts when I have a first-hand information. I've heard of that. I'm not going to deny it, that discos are rejecting energy, but I have not really seen it. I've only heard about it in the news, but I can't prove it. But basically, if it is so, I believe there must be a reason to that. Maybe because I believe, every energy generated is being paid for. And just like I said, discos, Gencos, or NESI, they are making huge loss. Because, see, a lot of people believe that if I meter, it reduces my revenue. But that's not the case. If you meter, it also increases your revenue. But the problem is that people think with estimated bill. I just gave an example during the course of this discussion that I've witnessed it, as in I have a first-hand information on that, where someone will tell you that even under estimated billings, my payment every month is 2,000 naira. But since I have this your meter, I'm being charged, what I consume now is 5,000, 10,000 naira. But when you engage them in load survey, you realize that, yes, sir, you are actually paying for what you are using. So I think that could be attributed to probably inability of getting payments for what you are sending out. And in the area of disco, they want to also manage cost, because they want to be able to have what they can pay for. I would just want to say that, but I have not witnessed it, and I just heard about it. But I don't think, any right thinking man will want to see something that will better their services and will want to turn it down. But just for me to just answer you in that regard, I want to see it as, okay, probably because of payments, being able to pay for what they are taking, so they might want to cut their cost. So let's see it that way.
Wow. Thank you so much for watching. The program will continue same time, same station next week. I remain your host, Paul Kingsley. Bye.